Welcome to Cripple Fix It. I've had a delivery today, of which I'm not going to use it today, for the very simple reason is that this week has been horrific. Nothing but disappointment all week. So I don't want to encourage any more, because I feel it may push me over the edge. But on first impressions, I'm impressed. It's what I'm obviously trying to do is complete the drill chuck change, and I had two options to buy: a nut splitter, which is hopefully you'll know, but if you don't, it's metal device which go round the nut, and then you wind in a pointed high tensile bit of steel which pushes in to the nut and hopefully splits it. Well, I've never owned one, never had reason to use one, and just by looking at the design of them all, I would imagine you have to spend a lot of money to get a good one, because you're going to buy one that'll break if you don't. So I ended up buying a multi-tool for about the same price, 30 quid, so $40. And first impressions are very good. I've already plugged it in, so I know it goes round. And I'll show you it quickly. I looked at Dremels, but they're ridiculous money. So I got that on eBay. It's what's it called? Terrateck 234 piece Rotary toolkit. Again, like I say, 30 quid, $40. And it has a shed load of cutting discs. So even if I use all of them, I can then replace them and put them back in here. You can replace the tools with Dremel tools because they fit it. Now, last night when I was reading the book, because as you know, I like to read manuals, instruction manuals, I thought, oh, it's made in England or Great Britain. And I don't think it is, because it's made for them. But I can't see a made in China sign on it anywhere. But I'll be very surprised if it wasn't. Anyway, don't really matter nowadays, does it? Most stuff's made in China, and you're either going to be terribly disappointed or terribly impressed and surprised. Now I'm hoping I'm going to be surprised, and I'm not going to plug it in, put a cutting disc in it, and just end up in a cloud of dust. I'll hold it up again a bit longer so you can see it. Look at the amount of tools in there. So what my thinking is that a nut splitter I'm never going to use again. Having never had the need to use one, I could get a bad one, I could get a good one, but then it's just going to sit in a toolbox, never be used. This I'm going to use multiple times. You can use it for anything. Really? Loads of applications. But the cutting discs, if I get this little pack here, So I'm not going to show you it working until I do the drill. And then you're either going to see a very happy bunny or a terribly depressed bunny who's changing discs every 5 seconds. These are the cutting discs. These are the small ones. Look how thin it is. And you screw them onto a mandrel. One of them. Little tiny screw. Shove it in the end of the motor. Turn it on. And hopefully, well, I'll be very impressed if I can do it with 2, 3 cutting discs. I will be very, very impressed. So I'll probably, well, you'll see when I see, but I'll have to wait until I'm of a right frame of mind to potentially put up with the disappointment. Today is not the day. But there's so many bits in this kit which over the years I could have used. These things, these little brushes, little wire brush for cleaning circuit boards. I used to use a little toothbrush. You know, when they go all green and crusty, you can use one of these. Obviously, you're going to have to make sure that the bristles, when they come out, they're not sitting on the board. But you know, blow them off. It's not going to be a problem. But that is going to be brilliant for cleaning circuit boards. And by the way, my experience with circuit boards, most of the reason they stop working on any electrical device, from a thermostat to a computer or whatever, will be bad connections. So what I would normally do is clean them up and then resolder any that look iffy. And I don't mean take out the transistor or chip or whatever it is. I mean just go to the back end where you've got all the solder blobs and just touch them all again. Add a bit more solder, go around, touch them. Anyway, I'm going off on that, but that's what I would do. This, I have to say, first impressions, well, it would be, wouldn't it? Laid out like that, it looks lovely. All the kit, sanding discs, grinding discs, wood cutting discs, router type bits, engraving. I could do engraving. I don't know what I could engrave though, because I've tried that before with a little engraver and it never look quite how you think you're going to write something beautiful, like you see an engraver do it, and then you end up not. Give it a go and see what you think. But the sanding stuff, excellent. These little grinding discs, little grinding shapes. Never had much experience of these before the work. I tend to end up in a cloud of dust, and then you end up with a bare bit of metal hanging out of the thing. But these may be good. Who knows? You're obviously not going to be able to do any industrial work with it, but it's more of a hobby type stuff. But I'm hoping all it's got to do is cut that chuck. That's all I bought it for. Other things it gets used for after that are a bonus. So what I'd like to do is report back to you that this is one of the best things I've ever bought. But my experience tells me I'm going to be disappointed, hence why I'm not doing it today. Another good point is the manual. Well, it's a good point if you're English or American or Australian or the European countries that speak English better than we do. It's all in English. There's no Chinese, no French. They quite rightly thought, well, what's the point? And it conforms with all sorts of things which are not applicable. Don't care, do you, really? As long as it doesn't burst into flames while you're holding it, you're happy. What I want it to do is work. And that will be down to, I know the motor works. It will be down to how strong, this is a big cutting disc, which I've only got 5 of. Slightly worrying. So I'm going to use mostly the small ones. That's a big cutting disc, which is about the size of 50p. And really, really thin. I may use one of these. I don't want to use the whole lot. So as you can see, I do have a well formulated plan. I've got all the gear and a teensy bit of an idea. This one looks cool. It's like hopefully you can see the teeth on it. Cutting disc for wood, which I suppose if you make a wood joint and part of it's hanging out and you just want to chop a little bit off and it's small, you can use that. If you don't throw it on the floor. That's my left hand doing funny things. Oh, all sorts. You can see the optimism is building. This is a tiny little grinding, cutting, like a router bit where you can cut. You can cut with it. Route a little channel out of something. I don't know. The uses are pretty wide. Loads of sanding discs, about 80 of them. No real instruction how to put it together, so they are, what I'm assuming is, you just shove them all in the mandrel. You shove everything in there, unless it's stuck to the end of one of these shafts. Then obviously you just shove it in the end of the drill motor, which that works and it does up. So I'm pretty confident of it working to a degree. What I'm not confident of is how strong the cutting discs are. Like I say, it's only got one job to do, which is cut that bloody chuck off. If it does that, I'm going to promote this tool to one of my more useful appliances. So I'm not going to. It's basically just an introduction to the kit. I'm then going to attempt the chuck probably tomorrow. I mean, look at that, all in English. Very impressed. And it arrived next day, about 9 o'clock at night, just left on the doorstep. But because I had an email saying it was going to be 9 o'clock at night, I went and checked before it was nicked off the doorstep. So bonus all round, really. Safety warning, already ignore that, can't we? The drill bit, the actual motor, looks quite heavy, and it is quite heavy. But I think if you can put whatever you're doing on a bench, use both hands, should be fine. Result, whole thing is, well, it looks the part. And the good thing about the small cutting discs is they come in these little pots. So I can just buy some more, pop them in the pot, and also it doesn't look like you got loads of the kit missing. The only thing I had to do last night was recover 2 or 3 of the bits which had fallen out in the transit and ended up between the white bit of plastic and the black bit of plastic. But I could tilt it up and eventually they came out. So, there you go. I shall let you know how it goes, or you'll see how it goes, and then I shall give another report on its use, how useful it's going to be, whether you should have bought a Dremel. But like I say, you can always buy Dremel bits, so don't panic. I'm not going to panic. If the bits fall apart, I shall then buy more expensive cutting discs. We'll see how we go. Right, cheerio.